What is growing on? So another follow-up video here at the home nursery. You can thank DJI and this easy to carry Osmo for the more videos. This thing has been a game changer for me. Weighs like a quarter of a pound. Throw it in my pocket, pull it out. A little easier obviously to use on the phone. It's not going off every time I'm trying to make a phone call. I have been working around the home nursery here for I guess about the last 2 weeks on and off in between jobs. Next week we're back on a job, so progress is slowing down again, unfortunately, and fortunately in a way too, because I'm not excited about it. I don't have you a finished greenhouse over here to show you guys yet. All of this base that you see here behind me, that is crushed granite. That is lime rock screenings, basically crushed lime rock. We use that as a hard base under all of our weed mat areas. That's going to be going underneath that greenhouse. That makes it, really nice hard base after we compact it, kind of similar to like what you would do for pavers or a hardscape. Long-term walking over it, we don't end up with a lot of holes that way. If we were to just put it over the dirt, it ends up really lumpy, even though with all the work that we're doing, we still do get some holes and things over time, but it is better than just using dirt. So greenhouse is coming. We trimmed a bunch of the trees back there. I have a couple of stumps to get out. I'm not going to show you a video until we get some more progress in that area. Where I do have a little bit of progress is over here. So we started doing some landscaping up along the fence, and I actually did that other fence line over there too. I guess I could show you guys that. I forgot about that. We've planted out 2 areas in the last 2 weeks, and I'm working my way over to the 3rd zone now. We've got a wet zone here. This is something that I need to deal with once we get into dry season, because of how high I raised the shade house and all the buildings we're putting in. That water has to have somewhere to go, so I'm ending up with a little bit of a wet spot here during the day. Goal is to put in a drain, put in a super gutter, another pickup over there, and run all of this out to the ditch. We do have a retention ditch that runs around the property, which I've never seen water in. So the goal is to move that water to the south over here to this ditch. You'll be able to see it here as I walk up on our newest bed. And this new bed has those eucalyptus trees I was just talking about in the last video, or a couple of videos ago. I'm sure you guys have seen a few job site videos now and some follow-up videos, but these were planted a little less than a week ago. No irrigation, although you do see a hose here. We have hand watered them once or twice. I had that hose out front yesterday, filling some of the trees in that we planted out front. We have vetiver grass and eucalyptus going all the way down this fence line here. And as it cuts through the corner over here, and look at this new beautiful fuzzy growth on this. They really are pretty. The new growth has that pinkish red color to it. And then over here, put a couple of firebush and a couple more vetiver grass. And the vetiver grass is just kind of acting as that placeholder, giving us a little bit of in-between privacy until things fill up. Obviously the firebush is going to become 5-6 foot in here, kind of give us a little bit of buffer because we have that hole here, and maybe a little bit of a sneak peek into that greenhouse zone. I'd like to try to keep that live oak over there. It's one of the few live oaks we've got on the property. Most of the oak trees I have here are laurel oaks and water oaks, so what few live oaks we have, we are going to try to retain and keep. But these guys grow super fast. I mean, we're going to have 10-foot trees by next year. By the end of next summer, probably 15-foot trees. So stay tuned, because before you know it, these guys are going to be over the fence. I guess we could do a quick little cut through along the nursery. What do you guys think? This is all overstock. I've talked about this in the past. Cattleya guavas for days. Barbados cherry, basically just to restock the other side once we run out. Irrigation was on in all of these areas this morning, so things are a little wet and a little soggy yet. And this is one of those areas where I happen to just be talking about the base going down underneath the weed mat, that I didn't have base, wasn't in the budget to put it underneath here when we were doing it, needed to rush this area, ended up just putting it on the dirt, and this is a very soggy zone. Eventually this will probably get ripped up, redone, but for now it's doing its job. And we don't get a lot of clients in here, so it's not as big of an issue with just the employees walking through this space. But over there on that side, obviously we're very hard packed. That is new. I did some tree work out front, took down a big tree, actually that large live oak that's been dead or dying since we bought the property. It completely died within the last 1.5 to 2 years. That's one of the stumps. I don't know if that's gonna second over as a seat or what. I wanna landscape this kind of shade zone over here next, so we'll see. So this fence line was just planted. We did this one 2 days ago. We basically have grafted loquats, avocado, and mulberry coming all the way down the fence. Put a couple of different breeder varieties in here that I haven't had in the ground yet. I think we've got Giant, Shangri-La, and Tice. I need to plant a few more 6th Street. I did some of the dwarf vitex through here. I did dwarf sweet almond and dwarf firebush, kind of as a pattern going all the way down as a filler, and lemongrass, and the large red grass in the back as a chop and drop. Looking good. And that one was on the tip of my tongue. So large red grass would be the red Napier grass. And then along the front, for a little bit of color, I put the perennial penta, which most pentas are not perennial. That is one that'll last 10, 20, 30 years. Got that from a collector. And that's that Napier grass along the back. And you can see that's this week installed. Here's them in the nursery. This is where I go when I need plants for planting. I just literally walk right over here, steal them out of the nursery. Definitely pretty lucky. There's some of the red Napier grass in the 3-gallon pots. But I wanted to show you one that we planted, I don't know, 5, 6 weeks ago. I think I pointed out this planting in a recent video, but I want to show you how much bigger it's gotten since. I mean, these guys are already up at the top of the shipping container. Big, beautiful, dark, reddish purple to the leaves. Really good biomass, really cool filler plant. I like how they look here in the landscape. So eventually that loquat's gonna fill a little more space. That banana is kicking that banana's ass. Definitely growing a lot quicker. And then we have a world's best and a Thai dwarf mulberry. There's that little Thai dwarf. All right, let's head out front. That's where all the exciting stuff's been happening the last week. Had a couple of big wholesale orders go out for japoticabas. I had a full 28-foot U-Haul truck leave last week to a nursery in Tampa. Bought a bunch of giant reds, Grimmel, scarlet, white, you name it. About 70% of the way through the papayas. I'd like to get rid of those before winter. We've got 7 or 8 really rare varieties right now. Red varieties and Saba, I mean, varieties I've never even heard of before in a papaya. Yes, I said Saba. We had a client bring us one. She told us the name of it was Saba, so we're just going with it. Native zone looking a little thin right now. Got to get some more plants in here. Sunshine mimosa's still sleeping. Got lots of work we still want to do up here by the office. I'm actually going to expand this road about another 3 to 4 foot. I want to take all that mulch off that edge, kind of widen this up a little bit. Working on a canopy for all of our bagged material, compost, biochar, potting soil, potting mix, etc. Somewhere we can keep it out of the rain. That's the next big goal. It's getting towards the end of the season for that Molokia, Egyptian spinach. If you know, you know. Guys, we just had a bunch of Adamoya off the trees, sugar apples off the trees at my house. I've been selling sapodilla, I've been selling starfruit like crazy. We've probably sold about 500 starfruit in the last, I don't know, month or so. They have been flying off the shelves. I've thinned the trees pretty hard, but we put fresh fruit out when we open on the counter over here. So I just recently scored a couple more tracking trailers. That is not one. I thought it was from the distance. It was made by the same company, but they're the 10-footers. There's a nursery going out of business up in Inverness, so I picked up 2 more, added to our fleet of tracking trailers. Those things are great. Can't have enough of them. And let's head up front. I don't know if you guys saw that epic B-roll in one of the newest videos I put out, but this new camera is absolutely epic. It literally has a flip over for B-roll mode, 120 in like 2 seconds. I can't say enough good stuff about it. The footage turned out epic. Robbie, you did a killer job on the B-roll for the Crystal Beach project. Turned out really good. Oh, you guys have to see what I'm seeing. This is so beautiful here in the mornings. So last year's planting of Fakahatchee grass, beautyberry, firebush, and a loquat. These grasses have filled out really, really nice. Look at that sunshine coming up through here in the morning. It is something else. We just recently Put a micro zone through all these beds, actually two, one for that side, one for this side. And those are just running off a hose bib. So when we remember, flip it on when we're here if it's dry. Not really a rainy season thing, but more of a dry season thing. These turmerics are all getting huge. Look at the size of that thing. Eventually, this is gonna end up being another road for coming in and exiting. We're ending up with a little bit of a bottleneck over here. And I say eventually, probably within the next few weeks. Gonna expand the road around this island, and it's gonna tie in and go around our new island out here in the front. Ended up having to stick the flatbed here yesterday. I was hauling some telephone poles, a little bit of sod. Don't tell anybody. Don't be a grass hole. Finally got these stumps ground out. Had to take about 6 or 7 trees out front here out. This driveway is going to tie in, connect to the main gate, but also go around this new center island we just planted. Turned out really good. And we used cabbage palms, Fakahatchee grass, cypress trees, thatch palms, and one large oak tree. Shout out to my neighbor with the big tree farm, Hunter with BMAC Tree Farms. We're actually going to put a bunch of in-the-ground trees over here along the fence, and I'll have B&B oaks, mags, cedar, cypress, elm, maple, any native tree. We're going to keep them probably 2, 3, 4 lines here along the front, maybe 30 or 40 trees in stock at all times. So this side will kind of be a little bit different, where we're typically doing stuff in containers. This is going to be in-the-ground trees. And as you can tell, we are still closed. The dirt pounding station is not open yet. Not open yet. Stay tuned. So here is our next zone for nursery. We have started the prep work. I have started the leveling. I have started to bring this whole space up, trying to pitch everything down into the new retention zone over there. Basically to that pole is where the nursery's gonna go, tying over to that corner. We're gonna end up with 2 tree lines where I can put things on drip, and this will just be an overhead zone over here. So probably about 3 zones of irrigation in this area. And we might even have some foo-foo crap out here, I don't know, but most of our pretty stuff, so vitex and firebush and sweet almond, flowering species, stuff that we can see from the road, hopefully attract a little bit more attention, guys. We do a little bit of a niche thing with just being edibles, being on a highway with 44,000 cars a day going by. Gotta have to get a little bit more attention. For right now, we've just been a giant pile of mulch out here, and it's nice to finally start to get some curb appeal, get this place organized. I have been working my butt off on the soil bin over here. I think I've got 40 blocks in there right now. They're about 4,000 pounds a piece. So there's a lot of concrete. Those blocks are gonna end up coming all the way to this corner over here. This little 10-foot section is gonna be a little, let's just say agroforestry row, food forest block, whatever we wanna call it. This will be our long-term dumping for our mulch bin organization. Hopefully one side will be fresh. Hopefully one side will have the more broken down stuff. Eventually this pile will be gone. This is what is left of the old broken down mulch. Eventually this semi-truck full of pine needles will be gone, although we will carry pine needles. I'm just not gonna keep them in that truck. Long-term goal is to have some type of building over here. Offices a couple of years down the line, but it is in the scopes. The old Swiss Army knife out here grading stuff. Still got a lot of grade work to do, but we did our tie-in to the well yesterday. We ran a hose bib, we put a valve there. That's gonna go back to the bamboo, which is just on a hose bib timer at this time. Currently just running one of these little rainbirds, which works pretty good, but we'd rather have it on a regular valve. The rainbird does cut off a lot of water. That's our ball valve to shut off this entire zone over here. This is gonna end up being a soil bin, compost bin, once we get around to getting some more blocks. I already kind of moved the compost over here, but we need to get it a little bit more organized. This is all still very fresh. I was hoping to be out here this morning laying black mat. It is Friday, but unfortunately 2 of the guys were sick today. Starting a new project next week, so probably be a couple weeks before I get back over here to wrap this up. One of my buddies is taking these logs. He wants to use them to line some beds. But otherwise, I did put a little bit of bahia in here, guys. Personally, was really worried about getting into hurricane. Well, obviously we're in hurricane season, getting some monsoonal rain events. This whole thing washing in here, I really wanted to lock it together. So I ended up picking up 800 square foot, 2 pallets of bahia. Never gonna get fertilized, never gonna get irrigated. Long term, I wanted to have an entry point to get in with the mower though. I didn't want to have to weed eat that space. All of these grasses were just cut back. We chose the pine needles as the ground cover on top of the mulch. I thought it added a nice look. Doing something a little bit different out here, but making some progress. So trees down, nurseries expanded, retention pond landscape, mulch bin started. Lots of exciting stuff going on here at the nursery. If you haven't been in to see it, come on down, check us out, see what we've been working on. What do you know about the Great Wall of GreenDreams? Working on building one here. So those things have a really nice hook on the top of them. That's actually a waste product from a local concrete company. When they come back, if they have a yard left, 2 yards left, sometimes they even told me 10 yards left of concrete. They have these molds. Instead of just dumping it on the ground, they put them into the mold. So somebody has paid for this concrete, not the company that's actually making them. And these things just go together like Legos. They got a nice little hook up on the top. Pretty cool. All right, Great Wall of GreenDreams. All right, so lots of exciting stuff happening out here by the road. If you haven't been in here to see it yet, come in and check us out here. I'm always here, or I say I'm always here. I try to be here on and off during the week, but typically on Saturdays. Other new news to share is I did get a new drone. Just recently picked up another DJI. Unfortunately, cannot fly it here at the new property still. I am really close to an airport. When I say really close, probably within 5 miles. I used to be able to put a code in and fly up. I have a friend that's probably a little bit more technology savvy than I am that looked through my drone, did a little research. He told me that DJI is no longer on the approved flight list. So when I asked for approval to fly here, they're not one of the approved platforms, I guess, that gets a code to fly here. I don't know exactly what that is. Know it's a pain in the butt. I know I can still fly at my house. I know I can fly at other places, just not using it here at the nursery. So, whoa, I am gonna go try right now one more time. Even if it let me go up just like 15 foot around the property, I would be happy. I don't have to go up 398 feet or whatever it is. But little follow up here at the nursery, trees down, nursery expansion, new plants in the ground. Lots of exciting stuff happening. So come on down, check us out. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. I hope you started a food forest. I hope you've been ripping out some grass, and I hope you've been pounding some dirt.